everyone! So to start off, I wanted to say that my window is open because it is super hot in my house and we don't have air conditioning right now. It's kind of broken, which is bad. So I apologize if you can hear either the dog barking outside or the numerous lawnmowers that people have decided to run right now. One other thing that I want to say before we get started is that I actually swatched the palette that I'm going to be talking about on my arms already. So if you guys get little glimpses of these like color stripes up and down my arm, I don't have some sort of weird disease, it is eyeshadow. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. Now, Urban Decay has come out with 3 palettes so far, obviously, this is the Naked 3, by the name Naked. And what they are is neutral color eyeshadows with a lot of variety so you can create a lot of different looks. And so there's the Naked 1, Naked 2, and Naked 3. And I already had the Naked 1, it was one of the first eyeshadow palettes that I ever bought, and I really love it. There are two things that are really unique to this palette versus the other 2 Naked palettes from Urban Decay. The first being that all 12 of these colors are unique to this palette, so they are not available anywhere else except in this palette. And in the first palette, I know for sure, I'm not sure about the Naked 2, but I know that in the first Naked palette, there are a lot of colors in there that you can actually get as singles. It's a better deal to just buy it as a palette instead of buying each individual single, but you can, like, they're not exclusive colors. This one, every single color is exclusive to this palette, so they're never going to be things that you have worn before or that you might already own. I think that's a really nice thing when you're buying an eyeshadow palette. I don't want to run a risk of accidentally buying a single of something that I already have. The Naked one was more chocolate brown kind of toned instead of a rosy pink. There are lots of golds and light browns and warm browns. And then the Naked 2 is a little bit more cool toned. So that makes this palette kind of unique. I don't have any palettes in my collection right now that are as much pink toned as this, and I actually really like it because even though pinks and purples and more rosy shades can be really hard to pull off on some skin tones, on me it tends to work pretty darn well. Just knowing that these types of colors work for you is something that you really want to make sure before you get this palette, because it is a very specific palette, I guess I would say. You kind of have to know how to wear them because they are pinker shades, and if you wear pink the wrong way, it can sadly look like you have like an eye infection, which is not the look that anybody's going for. Looking at the packaging of this palette, I really like it. I know some people don't like it. It is a hard, I don't know what material it is. It feels like it's plastic, but it's hardy enough to be tin. I think it's just plastic, but it closes like with a very satisfying click, and the case, like, it feels like it's really going to protect the shadow. The packaging on these palettes has gotten increasingly sturdier since the first Naked palette. The first one has a very soft lid and it's like velvet on the outside, and it's very nice, but it's not super protective. And then the Naked 2 palette is more like a tin pencil case where you would just open it, but this part, instead of here, this first, the top lid kind of folds over, if that makes sense. And it's just a thinner protectant on this, and this is just, it's very sturdy. You can see how thick this upper lid is. Also, the mirror on this, let me try not to blind you, is very nice because the first Naked palette, the mirror isn't actually metal, it's like a plastic insert. This one is a real legit like mirror, and it's quality enough that I could do my makeup in it without a problem. That's something that I look for when I'm traveling, because I do travel quite a bit, and I like to have palettes and pieces that have mirrors that I can actually feasibly use. The Naked 1 palette does not offer that, and also the mirror, because it is the thin plastic, it's really spotty really easily and you can't really clean it. So I'm going to go through and talk about each of these colors a little bit. Starting from the lightest side of the palette, our first color is called Strange, and it's kind of a funny name because it's not a strange color at all. It's a very common color. This is an extremely light pink matte color, and it's really great for your inner corner. I think it's a very natural look. It's not super white and super bright, and I just like the way it looks a lot. Now, when I swatched it on my arm, you can't really see it because sadly I am so pale that I pretty much match the color of this on the inside of my arm. So you can't really see it, but it is very nice for the inner corner highlight, and I also use it underneath my brows to highlight sometimes. The next color in is Dust, and this is a really pretty pink. It's a shimmery pink, and I find that because it is so light while it's still being shimmery, if that makes sense, it makes a great highlight for right in the center of my eyelid. I tend to go light to dark, but I like to add a little bit of a highlight right in the middle here. It really opens up your eyes and makes your eyes look a little bit bigger, and this is the perfect color for that. The next color in is a Burnout, and this color is a little bit more matte than Dust is, but it's still shimmery, and it's a very true pink. You wouldn't think so by looking at it. It looks much more brown, like a light neutral brown tone, but it's actually a very true pink, and I like it a lot. I think that it's one of the more versatile colors in here. However, that being said, you have to be wearing it with the right colors, otherwise it's gonna look too pink, like we talked about before, like you have an eye infection, which is not the look we're going for. So you have to be careful with this color, I think, more than any of the other colors, just in how you apply it and how you wear it, but it is very, very pretty. Next up is Limit, which is a matte light brown, and I can tell that I'm going to love this for fall. In the fall, I love to do brown eyeshadow looks, and this is just going to be perfect. It's a very, very true light brown, but it has a hint of pink in it, which just makes it look absolutely gorgeous, like a very, very light mauve. To be honest, in the summer especially, I like to wear shimmery shadows instead of matte shadows. Even though matte is more natural, I just gravitate towards the shimmery side of things. So until we hit fall and I am doing those brown eye looks, this color probably won't get anywhere near as much use as some of the other colors. Next up is Buzz, which is one of my favorite colors so far in this palette that I've really worn. I think I've worn it the most maybe of all these colors. I'm not sure. One of the top colors that I've worn so far since getting it. And it is a gorgeous dark pink, like absolutely gorgeous. It is a shimmery color. It's not like crazy shimmery. None of these are crazy shimmery except for Blackheart and Dust. And I just really, really like it. It's basically a darker version of Dust with a little less shimmer and a little bit more brown tones to it. After that, we have Trick, which is kind of, it looks like a light gold color in the pan, but it actually comes off as a very, very light, shimmery, extremely light brown. Like it doesn't have any pink tones to it that I can see really, but it is a beautiful light brown. Like it doesn't look gold at all, which I think is nice because in the first Naked palette, we have the color Half Baked, which is a little bit too gold, and when I wear it, it looks like I have just like pure gold like on my eyelid, and that isn't usually a very good look. So I really like this, and I think it's going to be a lot more versatile than that color in the Naked 1 palette, which I appreciate, having more versatility. Next up is Nooner, which is a little bit darker version of the color Limit. Like they're basically the same color. This one's just a shade darker. It has a little bit more red tones to it. Limit does, sorry, not Nooner. Limit has a little bit more of a red tone to it, or a pink tone. But they're a little bit too similar for me to really like either one more than the other, if that makes sense. I don't like having pretty close duplicates because I feel like if I built up Limit, I could get the same color as Nooner. Like it wouldn't be a problem. It's not really a new color. So that's kind of the only dud color in here that I feel like I'm not going to probably use as much. I'll probably just use Limit. The next color, Liar, is a really wearable light brown, and it's a shimmery brown. Let's see, how many colors of these are shimmery? Dust, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of the 12 are shimmery. I really like that because like I said, I don't tend to wear matte colors as much as I wear shimmery. But anyway, Liar is, I think it would look so gorgeous with Dust. I haven't tried it yet, but it is a little more gray tone. And if you guys have watched my videos for a while, I've mentioned Sidecar from the first Naked palette quite a few times. That's my favorite color in there. And it is very, very similar to this, except that one is more metallic, and I feel like this is a lot more wearable and more natural than that one is, and I'm coming up with a few colors like that where they're just a better version of the Naked 1 palette, I feel like. So I love this color, and I'm really excited to wear it more, especially in the fall and winter. It's kind of a frosty gray brown, so I think it's going to look really, really pretty with those looks. Next we have Factory, which is actually a lot darker than you would expect. It doesn't look as dark as it comes off, but it is a really, really pretty shimmery brown with a hint of pink. It's a very, very light hint of pink. It doesn't look pink, if that makes sense. It's just a brown with like kind of a warmth to it from the pink, and I think it's really, really beautiful. I'm really excited to have this palette this fall because I think I'm going to be able to create some really gorgeous looks with some of these colors. Next we have Mugshot, which is actually even closer to Sidecar than Liar is. Liar is a little bit more pinky toned, but Mugshot is still kind of that gray brown color that I absolutely love. I think it's so pretty. More shimmery gray colors like this too also look fantastic with blue or green eyes, which I have blue eyes. So I love the way this looks. I can sort of already tell that Mugshot, Liar, Buzz, and Dust are going to be my most used colors of this whole palette, I think. I just love the way they look separately, but I also love the way they look combined because the gray and the pink tones just look so gorgeous together. The last two colors are Dark Side and Blackout. Now Dark Side, it's pretty. I don't know how often I would wear it though. There's actually one color in the Naked 1 palette that is pretty similar, and I'm just realizing more and more talking to you guys that the palettes are just different versions of each other, which I already knew, but I don't know. So it's a dark gray, and I don't tend to wear dark grays as a crease color or as a liner. If I'm going to do a darker crease color, it's usually going to be a dark brown or even a black if I blend it out really, really well. I just don't gravitate towards dark grays for whatever reason. And I think this is very pretty, but I'm not sure how much use I'm going to get out of it. Last up, we have Blackheart. Now this color looks the most gorgeous of all of them in the pan. It's a dark black. Well, no, it's not black. It's a black with lots of purple, and I actually can't tell if it's just a super dark purple, but it has lots of pink shimmer to it, and it just looks so beautiful. This was the color that I was most excited about, just because it is so gorgeous. I'm really excited to try this as an eyeliner and maybe smudge it out. And I just think it's going to look so gorgeous. Smoky eyes. When I'm getting into more heavy makeup in the fall and winter, I'm super excited to whip this out and try that because it is just the most beautiful color of eyeshadow that I've ever seen in a pan, and I'm really excited about it. Now, when I swatch it, it doesn't look purple, which is funny, and that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about it, because when I swatch it, you actually can't see any of the pink or purple tones to it. It just looks black, which is weird because in the pan, it doesn't actually look black. Like, you can't pick out, oh, that's black with pink. It looks more like a very dark purple with pink. So I'm not sure how this will wear on my lids. I haven't tried it yet because I've been wearing much more natural makeup for summer. I haven't been doing super dark crease colors or super dark eyeliner or anything. But yeah, I'm just curious to see how it goes because it just looks so black. The application of these shadows is phenomenal. The texture of almost all Urban Decay shadows that I've ever tried is super buttery and super smooth. It's like butter in powdered form, and I love how easily it glides onto your lids, and I love how easily it blends out. I've never had a problem with an Urban Decay shadow not blending. I think that they do a really, really great job with their formula. That being said, there are some colors in here that I don't feel blend as easily as some of the others. So for instance, Dark Side, it just sort of stays where you apply it. You can't really blend it out. It just stays there, which is a little bit unfortunate because it is a darker color, and if I was going to use it as a crease color, I'd want to be able to blend it out really well and not have like a super harsh line in my crease. So we'll see how that goes, but for the most part, they're very, very easy to apply, very easy to blend, and they're just beautiful and gorgeous and great. This palette also comes with a dual-ended brush, which I really, really like. The brush that came with the first Naked palette is actually one of my most used brushes now. I love it. So I don't think you can get this brush any other, I don't think you can get it except for in the palette. The only number or name on here says J3BH. So if that means something, I don't really know. But one end is a flat shader brush with a, it's a domed cut, but it's not fluffy at all. It's very, very thin. And then the other side is more of a fluffy blending brush. Now I don't like the blending brush as much as some of the ones that I already own, so I probably won't use that one as much, but I really like the flat shader brushes for how well they place shadow. So this will get quite a lot of use. The only downside of this brush is that it kind of has to be kept in the little slot in the palette, because otherwise if you put it in your brush holder, it's going to get, one side of the brush is going to get ruined and the other side will be fine. So you have to kind of keep it right in here, which isn't a big deal, but I kind of wish that it was not dual-ended just for that purpose. Overall, because I'm a huge fan of the more pinky tinted shadows and the more rose gold theme of this whole palette, I would really highly recommend it. That being said, since I got my Naked palette, I think a year and a half ago, prices have been steadily increasing on the palette. So if you're going to get this, I would say just do it because they're going to keep going up. When I got my first Naked palette, it was $50 and this one was $54, and I've just noticed through Ulta ads and through Sephora that things just keep creeping up by about $1 every 4 months or so. So I would go ahead and do this if you're thinking about it, just so it doesn't get even more expensive. That's going to be it for this edition of Product Spotlight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. Let me know if you have the Naked 2 palette and what you think about it, because I'm thinking about getting it and I've just heard that it's really, really good, but I love both the Naked 1 and the Naked 3, so I'm not sure if I still need that. Let me know if you have it, what you think. As always, if there are any products that you guys would like to see a review of specifically, let me know and I'll try and get a video up on that product for you. I hope you guys are having a fantastic summer and a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!